everyone, my name is Stephanie Estep. I handle payroll and HR out of the Franklin office. And today I'm going to show you how to complete the supervisor side of your annual performance reviews for your employees in Paycom. So right now I have pulled up a test manager's profile. It probably looks very similar to what you see when you go in to approve PTO requests or approve time cards. The only difference is that this manager now has access to this talent management box and this performance and compensation management link right here. So you can notice that you can click on this, or you can actually access the reviews also in your notification center where you normally see your PTO requests. You'll also now see pending performance reviews, and I'll tell you how many you've got outstanding. So to get to the actual performance reviews, I can click on this notification, or I can click on the link in the middle. So today I'm just going to click on this one, and it'll bring me to this next page, which is the Managed Performance Review dashboard here. And there are a lot of different links here, but the only one you really need to focus on and use for the purpose of completing reviews is this bottom one here that says Performance Review Dashboard. And you'll notice that it still has that same notification saying I have 3 performance reviews currently requiring my attention as this manager. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and that will bring me into this screen where I will complete all of my reviews and can view everything necessary for completing the performance reviews. So the first tab it's going to automatically bring me to is the reviews requiring action. On this tab, it will list anything outstanding that is currently requiring your attention that you need to complete for your employees. So for each employee that you have that reports to you, you will actually receive 3 different line items for them in the screen that are all part of the same review. So it basically breaks down the same one review into 3 different portions. The first one is the annual performance appraisal, which is where you'll go in and complete the competency ratings. And then the second will be the supervisor questions, where you'll just go in and type in answers for several questions that pertain to that employee's performance for the last year. And the third will be the periodic progress reviews, where your employees' objectives and goals for this year will currently be housed, and you can make notes there. So I'm going to walk us through each one of those. I do recommend doing the annual performance appraisal first. As you can see, this is the only portion that will also be completed by your employees. This current employee actually already completed theirs, and it says in the self-assessment column here that they rated themselves an average of a 2.1. So I can go in here and I'll click on their name to actually enter the review. And I'm going to walk us through a couple of pieces first. At the very top, you'll notice it says View Rating Scale. So if I click the drop-down button there, it will drop down all of the ratings that are available to me for this review. And they'll actually be the same ratings that we had last year with a 1, 2, or 3. And I'll give a brief description of each one and what pertains to them. So if ever I have questions, I can always go back up here to reference those. The next portion will be the employee information. So it'll have my employee's name, their position, and their hire date, and all of that will be in this area right here. And below that will be where the actual competencies and ratings begin. So on each one, it will give me the name of the competency, a brief description of that competency, so I know it's being asked, a weighting of that competency, and then finally a box here for me to rate the employee and how they did on it. So I'll have the same 3 options available to me: the improvement required, achieves expectations, and exceeds expectations, or 1, 2, and 3. So for each one of these competencies, I'm going to go through and rate my employee, and then I am required to fill in a competency note right here. So for this employee, so if I rated them a 1, I'm going to put down the reasons why I gave them that score, and then any objectives that I want them to kind of work on that will help them get a higher score possibly next year. If I rate them a 2, I'm going to say, hey, these are things you did well, and then at the same time, here are some things that you can work on to, once again, improve your score. And then if I rate them a 3 or an exceeds expectations, I will kind of list all the things that they did well, kind of give them a little bit of an ego boost and recognize them and let them know that their hard work is not gone unnoticed, and it's kind of a nice way to give them some recognition in this box here. So once I have put a note in there, I will go on to the next one, and same thing will show the company name, description, and weighting. And so I'm going to go ahead and, for purposes of training, I'm just going to go kind of fast through here and pick some random scores. But obviously, you'll take the time to kind of go through and rate them, make your notes. I'm not putting any notes in here for right now, just like I said, for the purposes of training. But you'll kind of go through here, and please do note that the competencies are arranged in alphabetical order, and the weighting for each one will be a little different. So those do vary, so just keep in mind that they're not all weighted the same. So once I have completed rating my employee, and gone down the list, at the very bottom you'll see a place for manager notes. In this box, it's for any general comments you want to make about the employee's performance for the last year that maybe don't pertain to a certain competency up above. So if you just have any general notes you want to leave, you can put those in this box here. And if you run out of space, there is another additional notes box at the bottom. So once I've done all that, I'm going to scroll down to the very bottom and hit Save Changes so that I can see what the final average weighting is. So if I scroll all the way back down, I will go to this line right here where it says Competencies Totals, and it says Manager Rating. So right now I rated this employee as an average of a 1.8. So I can kind of think about that, tweak anything I want to, or leave as is. So for right now, since I've saved changes, I can leave my form as is and come back to it later if I want to hold off and maybe complete some other employees first. Or if I am okay with it and that's what my final score is, I will go ahead and type my name in here as my signature and then put the date there, and then I will send it on to the next level of management. So I'm going to click this box that says Send to Next Level, and it will then give me the option to send my decision reason, which since I just created the review, obviously I'm going to say approved since I completed it myself. And then for next reviewer, I will pick whoever I report to up next in the chain of command. For the purposes of this exercise, I'm going to pick myself just so that I don't send it to any random manager there. Now for notes, I'm not going to use this box right now, but I will explain a little bit about the process real quick. After I hit approved and send this up to my next level management, I'm going to click submit an email. That way they get an email notification saying that they have now a review waiting on their review and they need to complete their portion of it. So what they'll do is they'll go in, they'll review all of the ratings I gave in my notes, and at that point they'll have the option to either approve it and send to their next level manager, or they can deny it and send it back to me, and maybe it's something, you know, hey, I'm one competency, my next level up manager thinks that we need to talk about it and maybe just discuss it a little bit further, maybe change some things, so that they'll have the option to send it back to you, or they can send it on up. Once all those are approved, it'll keep going up the line of command, and once it finally gets all the way to the top, it will be sent to Al Rollins. And at that point, he'll have the chance to review it, and if everything looks good, he will send it back to the first level manager, and which in this case is the supervisor I'm in currently. He's the first level. And so once this first level manager receives that approval from Al Rollins, he actually can then sit down with the employee and have the sit-down review. So right now I'm just going to go ahead and hit submit an email, and that way it starts that whole chain of command and that whole process going. Then I'm going to go into the next level, which is supervisor's questions. So this portion of the review is going to be a bunch of different questions that I need to answer as a manager about my performance, or my employees' performance last year, maybe some goals and objectives that they had set last year and how they did on them, what their strengths were, what maybe the skills they need to work on, and I'll complete all of these questions in here. For the sake of time, I'm not going to do that right now and see this as a test employee, but it's the same process. You fill it all out, and then once you're happy with it, you can either save it or you'll find date and then do the same process of sending to the next level of management. So like I said, for time's sake, I won't do that one right now, but just want to show you how that worked. Then the final part of the annual performance review will be the periodic progress review. Now, if your HR team hasn't already, they will shortly be getting with you to get your objectives that you have for each one of your positions that report to you. Right now, I'm in employee that's a press operator, so these will vary on position and location. So once I meet with my HR person and tell them, you know, hey, these are the goals that I want for my press operators or my customer service reps or whatever it might be, just the standard goals for that position or department will be listed here. Then at that time, when I'm completing these reviews, I'll have the option right here, maybe if I have one employee that, you know, I have a specific goal that may not be part of these that I really want to focus on for that employee, maybe make a change or something too that's just more specific to a certain employee, I can make any notes on that right here. And if I don't have any at all, I will just send these on up the chain saying that these are what I would like the objectives to be for my employee for this year and get the final approval. So same process, send to next level, and then pick my manager and so forth. So once again, I'm not going to complete that right now, but I want to show you what it looked like. So once I go back here, you'll see since I didn't complete those, they're still in my active reviews requiring my attention. But the second tab I'm going to draw your attention to is Open Reviews. What this is, this will be any reviews that you're part of the process on, that you've completed your part, but is waiting the approval of somebody else. So if you just want to see the status of any of the open reviews, you can go here. You can see this one tells me the employee name, which review it is, and then who's currently reviewing it. So if I ever need to check up on what's where, I can go to the screen and see that. The next tab is going to be Manage Employees. This is going to be a good kind of overall review of all of your employees. It'll tell you where they stand, how many reviews are currently incomplete, so this employee still has all 3 incomplete. However, once those do all kind of go through the process, it'll eventually update here, and it will say finally approved and how many are complete or awaiting a review. The final tab on here is Manage Performance Reviews. So under this tab, you'll see any reviews that have been sent out to your employees that your employees had to complete. So here you can see that my employee already completed his self-assessment, which we saw earlier. They can see their side of it, but until it's actually final approved, they will not have access to see any of the ratings that we just did. So the way that part of it works is that since I have sent on my supervisor ratings to my manager to approve, my employee will not have access to see those until they come back to me, and once I get those final approvals from Al Rollins, I will print off those 3 reviews. They will be back in this box here once they're approved by Al, and I can print those all off and then have and schedule my sit-down annual performance review with my employee, at which time I'll go through each one of those reviews, talk about my ratings versus their ratings, and also talk about the objectives I have for them versus maybe what they have for themselves, and kind of maybe make some changes, make some tweaks. If there are no changes, then I can just go back into any one of these, and what I'll do once the final sit-down has been completed, I'll go down to the very bottom, hit Send to Next Level Manager, and instead of having to go all through the process, I'll just click on Al Rollins' name, and then make a note saying, had our sit-down review, no changes to be made, please final approve. At which point Al will final approve the review, and it will no longer be edible on either our side or the employee side. So basically it will go into the archives, I'll be able to view it as a supervisor, and my employees will see the final scores on Paycom. Now this will be true for all 3 portions of the annual review. So just make sure you get all 3 approvals back before starting that, and then once they are finished, you just send each one to Al and he will final approve all 3 of those. Now, if you do have your sit down with your employee and they come back with maybe a change, or they bring up something on the competency scale, for instance, and say, you know, you rated me a 1, I think I'm a 2, and this is why, and they bring up something you may have forgotten and you agree with them and you do want to change that score, you'll have that option as well. You'll just go into the open review that you have on the screen once it's been all the way through. You'll click on it. You can make those changes. So I'll just click on this one, for example. So say I make a change on one of my questions here. I'll add that change into the actual text box, and then when I hit Send to Next Level, I will send it back to my immediate manager since we did make a change to it. And so for this case, it would be me just for this example. Put approved, and then in the note box, I'm going to put whatever that change was. That way my manager doesn't have to sift through the whole review itself. They can just look for that specific note and know exactly that's, you know, what was changed and this is why kind of thing. So then if that's the case, we will go through the whole process of going up to the next level manager all the way up to Al again. And then once he approves it, we can go back to the employee, say, hey, I was listening to you and I made this change, and this will be your final review. So that is how you complete the supervisor portion of your annual performance reviews. If you do have any questions at all, please reach out to your HR team locally, or you can always give me a call. Thank you so much for your time.